So, reminding us of Sri Vrindavan Dham, where the 12 forests are there. And also today, so it is also Amavasya, Punya Tithi, auspicious day, the new moon. Krishna is always performing his wonderful pastimes. Every day is a festival for Krishna and Braj. So on Amavasya Tithi, new moon, so there's a special celebration for Krishna also in a certain way. And so we will start speaking in a few minutes. And so we're just waiting for everyone to get ready. So it is according to the solar calendar, you're celebrating 20 years, Gaura Hari Prabhu?
Yes.
According to solar calendar.
Solar lunar.
23rd.
Yeah, 23rd. The whole of here was doing the
Okay.
preparations.
She's not here now. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Well, yes, we'll ask her after, yeah. Either way, because there's a solar calendar and there's a lunar. So mostly for festivals in India, we follow the lunar calendar, according to the moon. So also it is very special today because we are observing this Bhagavat Mahotsava. The Utsav means festival. A festival in regards, of course, mainly for the pleasure of the Lord, remembering that they came here 20 years ago. And on this occasion, so there's a 3 days festival of discussing about the wonderful pastimes of Krishna from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very holy scripture, and the essence of the Vedic literatures from India. Actually, 2 scriptures are very famous in India. One is the Bhagavad Gita, spoken by the Supreme Lord Himself. And the other one is the Srimad Bhagavatam, mainly recited by the devotees of the Lord. About the Lord and the Lord's devotees. So we were discussing especially about, because there are many personalities of Godhead, but Krishna is the source of everyone. Krishna is known as Adipurush. Those who are from India, they know so many gods are there, thousands of gods. Just like we can see in a big country, there's a big government there, there's a president, prime minister, vice president. So many personalities that are there in a government. So God's government is the biggest government. So more people are there in His government, but the supreme person, that is Krishna, and all the other personalities of Godhead are expansions of Krishna. Ete chamsa kala pumsam Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyari Vyakulam Yugam Meridyante Yuge Yuge. So that is mentioned in the same book, Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna is certainly the supreme personality of Godhead, and everybody else is simply the expanded form of Krishna. So that is accepted by all the great spiritual masters in India, in Bharatvarsha. So they have come to this conclusion. So we are discussing about Krishna today, and actually for the last 3 days, especially Krishna's pastimes in Braj, in Vrindavan, where He appeared 5,000 years ago on this planet, Earth, and performed these wonderful pastimes. And so we already started 3 days ago, so, but I will give a little introduction, and then we will, what we already talked the last few days, and then I will continue in the discussions. But first we'll chant the Mangala Charan. Mangala Charan means auspicious invocation, and usually 3 things are there in the Mangala Charan. Vastu Nirdesh, Namaskar, and Ashirvat. So the subject is introduced before the recitation of a speech or in a book. So the Mangalacharan verses are there, introducing the subject of the book or the topic. What is it all about? And then Namaskar, offering obeisances. And Ashirvad, that means the blessings are there. So the Vastu, the actual subject, matter, or the object of our worship, that is always Krishna, or his expansions and Krishna's devotees. Vastav Vastu. So we offer obeisances to him. And by doing that, we're getting the blessings of the Lord. So usually we chant many mantras or we sing many songs before the recitations, but already the devotees were chanting the holy names of the Lord, the Maha Mantra. So we'll just chant a few mantras, and especially the first two mantras. So I would like that all of you chant together with me. And I will chant first a few words of these mantras, and then you will repeat after me. Everybody's ready? Yes. And for that you fold your hands. That is, in India, when we greet somebody, then we do namaskar, pranam. So you fold your hands and then you repeat after me. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Namaste Girirajaya Sri Govardhana Namine Ashesha Klesha Nashaya Paramananda Dayane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Now everybody together the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Ramo, Hare Hare. So first of all, we always offer our respects, Gurave, to the spiritual masters, those who are helping us in our spiritual path, in making advancement in our spiritual life. So in India, that person is known as the Guru. And then we offer obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the incarnation for this age of Kali, and all his associates. And then we offer our obeisances to the divine couple, Sri Radha Krishna, Sri Radha Madan Mohan. So these are the names here of Radha Krishna in our temple, Radha Madan Mohan. So Krishna, who is most attractive, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has many names according to his qualities, according to his pastimes, according to his relationships with his dear associates. Especially in Golok Vrindavan, the highest realm of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we offer obeisances to them and to all the Vaishnavas, to all the devotees of the Lord. And there are so many devotees of the Lord. Anyone who is accepting God and understanding, I have a relationship with God. So we offer respect to that personality, to that person. And then obeisances to Giriraj. Namaste Girirajaya. Sri Govardhana Namine, whose name is also Govardhan. Giriraj means Giri means a mountain, and Raj means the king of the mountains. That mountain is situated in Sri Vrindavan Dham in India, near Delhi. If you go from Delhi to the Taj Mahal, in between, you go towards Vrindavan on the left side. There's a highway from Delhi to Agra, where the Taj Mahal is. If you go on that highway, towards the left, in between Delhi and Agra, you go to the left, you go to Sri Vrindavan Dham, where Krishna performed his wonderful pastimes. If you go to the in between, if you go towards the right, and after some distance, you will go to this famous hill, Giri Govardhan. Ashesha Klesha Nashaya. He is destroying so many difficulties. And as we know in our life, personally speaking, we know that difficulty is always there in life. But if we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and God's devotees, and especially also this Giri Govardhan, this hill, then all difficulties will be destroyed. And Paramananda Dayine, and He will give you transcendental happiness. And in this world, everyone is actually after happiness. Everyone wants to be happy, because it is the nature of the soul to be happy. But you can actually only be really happy if you are dedicating yourself towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you connect with Krishna, with God, then you can be truly happy. Otherwise, there's only some chapal sukh, chanchal sukh, very flickering happiness. Little happiness and then big distress will be there in life. Problems are there, usually more problems. But still, people are trying to be happy, it is natural. But really happy one can only be if one is serving God, Krishna. So we were discussing the last few days about the Supreme Personality of our Godhead, Krishna, and mainly then about His devotees, His great devotees. Just like when we speak from the Bible, then we speak about God and about Jesus Christ, and maybe His apostles, His disciples. So similarly in India we speak about Krishna and then His dear devotees. And so one was about some bewilderment of one of His devotees, known as Lord Brahma, who is actually a very dear servant of Krishna and who has done tremendous service for the pleasure of the Lord. He's actually the secondary creator of this material world. And he became a little bit bewildered at some time. And Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, taught him a lesson. So that was discussed the last 3 mornings by one of our devotees, Braja Sundar Prabhu. And actually just a small announcement that he will give also a short seminar in the afternoon from 4 to 5 for those who are interested in learning about the subject matter of teaching the Holy Scripture, the Srimad Bhagavatam. For those who are already here and who are acquainted with the subject matter. And then our very dear friend, Ram Govind Swami, so he was speaking about this hill, Giri Govardhan, and Krishna, who is performing his wonderful pastimes with his associates there on this big hill. And one time he lifted that big hill. For the Supreme Lord, nothing is impossible. And those who have come for India or have been in India, they will know. Krishna is known by the name of Giridhari also. So Giriraj is the greatest hill, and his name is Govardhan, and he will help us in our spiritual life. And so Krishna was lifting this hill by his inconceivable strength. So Maharaj was discussing about the wonderful pastime regarding Krishna and that Govardhan hill and his devotees also. And this evening he will conclude. And so he's known as Giridhari, very famous in India. So this hill is very famous. And you go to India, anywhere in India, and they will know about Krishna, they will know about this hill Giri Govardhan. And so on this day, Amavasya, which is an auspicious day, or on Purnima, on full moon day, or on Ekadashi, which is the 11th day of the lunar month, which comes twice in a month. So many persons from all over India, especially on the full moon day, they come to Vrindavan, to Giri Govardhan, and do parikrama of this great hill. Because they know that this hill is a very special hill. So that was discussed and will be further discussed also this evening. And I myself, I was speaking about Krishna and his very dear devotees known as the Gopis, the very confidential, beloved of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like we were saying the government. So different personalities are there in the government. And they have usually, they may be married. If they're not married, usually they have a girlfriend. Sometimes they have 2 girlfriends. Sometimes 3 even. But usually one wife is enough, according to the Vedic literatures. But even previously, sometimes the kings had more than 1 wives. So even actually that is maybe not everyone will understand this concept, but in the spiritual world actually, the Supreme Lord has an eternal consort. And even just recently I heard a report, there was one Catholic priest. He was going to leave his body. And then he had some realizations. And he was practically leaving the body, and he was gone to for him a little bit foreign land, and then he had experience of the absolute truth as a female. And he came back to life, and then he was preaching his realizations. Of course, then the other priests are saying, well, we never heard this. Because in the Bible they don't say that. But if you see in the Vedic literatures from India, so that concept is there, the absolute truth is there. And his eternal companions are there, his eternal consort is there. Known in the Vaikuntha planets as Lakshmi, or for Ramchandra Bhagavan Sita Devi, or for Krishna Shrimati Radharani. So we were thus discussing the last 2 days about Krishna and his eternal consort Shrimati Radharani and her friends. Just like a king, so usually has his queen, and the queen has a friend. So even any person here in the government, maybe the president, he has his wife, and the president himself, he has friends, he has relatives. And so also the wife of the president has friends and relatives. So that is natural. So in the kingdom of God it is like that. So we will discuss a little bit more about that, and just to refresh everyone's memory. So I will recite this mantra, because these Vedic literatures are in Sanskrit language, which is the original language actually. And all other languages, they are coming from Sanskrit. So they are very beautiful. And even if you don't understand, but I will also speak in English, the translation of these verses. But simply by hearing, even without understanding, the effect will be there. And just by hearing attentively and with faith, so one will actually become peaceful and also feel some transcendental pleasure. So Sri Shuka Vacham Idam Sharat Sachajalam Padmakara Sugandina Navishadvayana Vatam Sago Gopalaka Achutam. So here the speaker here is one great saint from India known as Shukadeva Goswami, a very dear devotee of the Lord, so to say the Son of God, and who is realized. So realized means he has seen God, so therefore he can also relate about God. So he's speaking about Krishna. Krishna who appeared 5,000 years ago on this planet, in Bharatvarsha, India, in this holy place. So Krishna was entering there, the beautiful Vrindavan forest, which was filled with transparent, very clear water, and cool breezes were there. And it was actually, the season was known as Sharat season. It is just before autumn. In India there are 6 seasons. 2 extra seasons. One is before autumn, that is where it is a little warm, but it is very pleasant also, morning and evening. And the other one is the rainy season, which are not there. Of course, here it is raining quite a lot, but there is a specific rainy season, Sharad Ritu, and other times, so the weather is quite calm and not so much rain is there. So Krishna, the Supreme Lord, accompanied by his associate, entered the beautiful forest of Vrindavan. And then Krishna, the Supreme Lord, was playing the flute. Kushamidavara Rajya Shushmi Bringa Dvijakula Gustu Sara Sarin Mahidram Madhabadiravagaya Charyaga Sahapa Shupala Balashchukujavenum. So the Vrindavan forest is very beautiful, and there are beautiful trees there with very fragrant flowers. Actually, throughout the year, by the Lord's arrangement, there are very beautiful and fragrant flowers there. And beautiful lakes are there, and rivers and hills, just like this Govardhan hill. So Krishna and his brother Balaram so entered the forest, and they were herding the cows. And then Krishna began vibrating his flute, which is most attractive. So the Supreme Lord is performing his wonderful pastimes with his associates, which is very, very wonderful, very sweet. And only indirectly he's taking care of this material world. So one great scholar one time from Germany actually came to India, and he heard about the concept of the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, from the Vedic literatures. And he immediately accepted, and he said, yes, that is God. Because he is not working, he's simply performing his pastimes. Having some fun, practically speaking, some good time. Whereas in other places they say God created this world, and then for 7 days, and then he became quite tired of working very, very hard. Or whatever, some conception they will say. But actually it is not like that. Just like a great king or a great person, a rich person, he wants to build a palace. He doesn't do it himself, but he engages his people. He's paying people. So the Supreme Lord, he performs his wonderful pastimes. And he has his servants who take care of this material world. And one of them is his Lord Brahma, who created this world. And he has his people. Just like even somebody who is making a new building or a palace. There's the chief engineer is there, and then he has his man who are doing the practical world. So Brahma also, who became a little bit bewildered, as explained, so he's not himself doing everything, but he has his persons helping him, creating this world and everything, which is a very wonderful manifestation. And he's inspired by the Supreme Lord. Just like a person who will build for the president or for the king a palace. So the king or the president will tell his main person what he wants. So the Supreme Lord is inspiring Lord Brahma to create this world. So, and then Krishna, so when he's there, then his most beloved associates the gopis. Amongst them, the most beloved is his eternal consort, Srimati Radharani. So, Shukadeva Goswami, the narrator, is explaining here that about the consciousness of these devotees, their mood, their love towards Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Tad brajasriya ashrutya venu gitam smarodayam kaschit paroksham krishnasya sahasakibhyo anvavanayam. So the young ladies of Braj, that is another name of the area where Vrindavan is situated, there are actually 12 forests there. They have all a name also, these different forests. So Vrindavan forest is there, then Madhuvan, Talavan, Kumudvan, Bahulavan, Kadirvan, Kamyavan, Bhadravan, Bilvavan, Bandirvan, Lohavan, and Gokul Mahavan. These are the 12 forests of Braj. But the main forest is Vrindavan. But of course, then there's another forest, Bahulavan, where Giriraj Govardhan is situated, and the very beautiful two ponds are there, Radhakund and Shyamakund, where the divine couple perform their wonderful pastimes. So that place is also very much celebrated and considered the most enchanting place and most important place in the whole universe. So there are so many planets, but we are very fortunate because Krishna appeared on this planet Earth. But then there are lower planets, higher planets. But Krishna is appearing here and performing his wonderful pastimes. So the young ladies there, so they were hearing the song of Krishna's flute. The Supreme Lord, he is most expert in anything, in everything. He's the strongest, he's the most knowledgeable, he's the most beautiful. And he can do anything. He speaks all languages. God, he can speak with anyone. Like here, with the German people, he speaks German. With the French people, he speaks French. With the Spanish, Spanish. With those who speak English, he will speak in English. He's a perfect linguist. And he knows all languages. And in India, he speaks Braj Bhasha, Hindi. But he speaks also Bengali. Here there are some Bengali devotees, they know. Apni Bangla bolten. Krishna Bangla bhashate bolchen. Krishna is also speaking in Bangla, especially in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is no different from Krishna. And also, to your surprise maybe, some of you, Krishna, he can talk with the dogs also, and the animals, and the birds, and the cows, and the calves. Krishna is most amazing, the Supreme Lord. That's why he's known as Bhagavan. That is the Supreme Lord. So the full conception is there in the Vedic literatures about God. And the other in the Bible and the Quran, some conceptions are there. And frankly speaking, this is actually, well, because I have studied all these books. I was reading the Bible, Quran, something, but then I read the Vedic literatures and I can see most knowledge is there. Just like in school, first you learn A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, counting, and the alphabet, and then you learn, more as you go in the higher classes. So similarly, the Bible and Quran, this is for the beginners in spiritual life. And when you go to the Vedic literatures, that is for those who are more advanced. So the associates of Krishna and Braj, they're the most exalted, most advanced devotees of the Lord. So when they were hearing Krishna playing the flute, so he's playing most wonderful. There are many people who play the flute. Even in my childhood, I had this flute, Blockflöte, we say in German, Blockflöte. So I was playing the flute something, but I was not expert and I gave it up after some time. But then in India, there are many who are playing flute also, very expert. And they have many flutes. Like even Krishna, he doesn't only have one flute, Venu. There is a small flute, the Venu. But then there's the Murli, that is medium-sized flute. And then there's a Vamsi, that is a very big flute. And because Krishna is the most a wonderful person, he's most personal. And he has a relationship with all his associates. And we belong to him and he wants to call us back to him also. And he wants to have this relationship. So he's having a relationship also with all the animals, the birds, the trees. And in the spiritual world, everything is actually transcendental and spiritual. And even so, therefore, the flute is very special. And therefore, the most dear devotees of Krishna, they're glorifying the flute. And he's giving different names to the flute. So, Venu, Vamsi, and Murli. So this is just just like for the parrots. In India, we say Shuk for the male parrot. And Sari for the female parrot. But then they also have their individual names. He has some pet parrots. Like even here, sometimes in the West, people are keeping parrots. At least in my time, like 30 years ago in Switzerland, people were keeping parrots. They still do? Yes, sometimes they keep parrots in a cage and they try to teach them to talk. And maybe they can say hello or say something, 1 or 2 words, the parrots. But in Golok Vrindavan, Krishna's parrots, they can talk. They're glorifying Krishna, most wonderful. And most beautiful. So they have their names, Krishna's parrots, they have names. The cows, he's giving them names, very personal. The flute also, each flute, he has maybe 10 flutes. And they all have their different names. Tribhuvana Mohini, the one flute is enchanting the 3 worlds. This earthly planet, the lower planets, and the higher heavenly planets. So most wonderful. So when Krishna is, so in India I saw many persons who are playing flute. They have the bamboo flute, like Krishna has a bamboo flute from the bamboo tree. And they make it whole, and they make the holes, and then very sweet. And they have like a small one, medium one, big one also, just like Krishna. And then they're playing, and it is actually not so easy to learn to play these flutes, the bamboo flutes. It is an art, but it is very enchanting, and it is helping to calm the consciousness. It is helping to evoke transcendental spiritual emotions. So very beautiful they can play. They are famous flute players in India, but nobody can play as good as Krishna, because he's the Supreme Lord. Even it is described, the demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they may sometimes also play the flute. That is explained by one of the Acharyas. But they know the science of the music. There's a science. Even in the West, those who learn music, they know. You have to learn, what is it? I can't remember. Do, re, ma, fa, la, this. Yeah, I already forget. But in India, it's re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. And then backwards. So we used to learn, in school. So Krishna is the most expert flutist, so enchanting. And sometimes he's playing the flute, and even the higher beings in the heavenly planets, they become bewildered. And all the bridge buses, they become bewildered, and that is described here. Especially here, the gopis is most beloved. Oh, when they hear that, they know, oh, Krishna is playing the flute. And they become so attracted. And transcendental, loving desires come in their heart. Oh, I want to be with Krishna. I want to be near Krishna. And hear very nicely when he's playing the flute. And because Krishna is so sweet, the Supreme Lord, most beautiful, they want to embrace him also. And so therefore, they began to privately discuss about Krishna's qualities. Tadvanetum arabdha smarantya Krishna cheshtitam nashakam smaravegena vikshiptam rason nripa. So the coward girl, they began to speak about Krishna. But because they had so much, they were overpowered by their love, that they were not able to speak properly. And they had to control themselves. Just like in this world, sometimes it happens due to excitement when we meet somebody who, our beloved, for the husband, for the man, the wife, for the children, after maybe they had gone somewhere, they come back, and then sometimes the tears are coming, and one is not able to speak properly due to loving emotions. So same with the gopis were the most beloved of Krishna. So they were not able to speak properly. And then, so the speaker, Sukadeva Goswami, is reciting a verse, just describing again the beauty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Bharabidam natavadavapukanaya kanikaram bibbadvasa kanakapisham vajantim chamalam randram veno radada surya purayan gopa vrindaira vrindaranyam sapada ramanam bhavishakirti kirti. So the Supreme Lord is performing his pastimes in Vrindavan, and there are many, so the associates are there, the gopis, his beloved consorts, damsels, the damsels of Braj, of the village there, and then sometimes he's there with his friends, and then the cows are there who are very much to be respected and worshipped in India, and therefore in India practically everyone is worshipping the cow. That was described also by Maharaj. And then the birds are there, and the peacocks, they dance, and they leave the peacock feathers. And then Krishna is taking these peacock feathers and putting in his crown or in his turban. Like we can see it here also in the temple. So that looks very beautiful. And he's decorated with flowers, and he's wearing yellow garments and a beautiful flower garland made from different flowers which are very fragrant. And so the Supreme Lord is beautifying the ground there, the holy place of Sri Vrindavan Dham, with the auspicious marks of his feet. So the great personalities have auspicious marks on their hands, on their feet. So that was seen. And then he's described as the greatest of dancers. Just like even in this world, sometimes for some entertainment, young people, they like to dance. So Krishna, who is ever fresh, the Supreme Lord, he's ever fresh, youth. So although he's the oldest person, he's the creator of everything, but he never gets old. Some persons who worship God, they depict him with a grey beard because he's the older person. No. But his form is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, youthful, very beautiful, ever fresh. Like an adolescent youth, 15, 16 years old. And so he's an expert dancer, Nattavaru. He's the best of all the dancers. So he's dancing many times with his friends, but then mostly with the gopis. Just like a young man wants to dance with a young girl. So that we can see all over the world this is happening. So the Supreme Lord is the source actually of everything, of all enjoyment also. Entertainment, everything is there in the spiritual realm. And therefore he comes in this world, as explained in this same book, and 5 chapters, Rasa Panchodai. So he comes in this world to perform his wonderful pastimes, so that even the conditioned soul, they can become attracted. Oh, it is so wonderful, I want to go there too. And therefore these descriptions are there, so we can become attracted, enchanted, and so that we then devote ourselves fully to the Supreme Lord, to Krishna, in loving exchange. So then when Krishna saw the gopis, his most beloved, so they are remembering this actually. So it is natural that even we can see in this world when, for example, in normal life, husband and wife are there, or a boy and a girlfriend, and they're together for some time, and then they're separated, they have to go home. But then the boy will try to remember his girlfriend, and the girlfriend automatically will remember her friend. It is natural. And so the Supreme Lord, so he's remembering everyone actually, and he's loving everyone. But then the individual devotees also, so they are remembering him and they're loving him. And so there's this transcendental loving exchange. So the friends of Krishna, they are glorifying Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And so much so they are absorbed that they are not even aware that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And so Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is relishing that. Iti Venoravam Rajam Sarva Bhuta Manoharam Shutra Vrajastriya Sarva Vanayantya Bire Bire. So when then the speaker, Shukadev is speaking to a great king, Parikshit Maharaj. So when the young ladies in Braj heard the sound of Krishna's flute, which is captivating the minds of all living entities there, especially there in Braj, in Vrindavan. So they were all embracing one another and began describing it. Si gopya ucho akshavantam palam vidam naparam vidamaha sakyo pashon anveveshaya torvayasyai vaktam vajesha suchayor anvena joshtam yaivan nipitam manorakta kadaksha moksham. So the cowgirls, the gopis were saying, oh, to each other, oh my dear friend, so those eyes that see the beautiful faces of Krishna and his brother Balaram, so they are most fortunate. So it is very beautiful to see Krishna and his friends enter the forest, and they are also taking cows and calves with them. And then especially when and especially if Krishna is playing the flute, so that is most enchanting to see, and it is most pleasing to hear when he's playing the flute. And then out of his causeless mercy, Krishna is glancing lovingly at everyone. So Krishna is very merciful and is reciprocating with everyone, especially of course with the gopis, because they have the most love. And according to our love towards Krishna, our dedication, so accordingly he will reciprocate. But he is merciful to everyone. So therefore he is glancing upon all the residents of Vrindavan. And when Krishna is coming back in the evening, so everyone is waiting for him. Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba, the elderly gopis of Braj, they are all waiting for Krishna. And when Krishna is coming back, then they are so much feeling transcendental pleasure, seeing beautiful Krishna. But especially the gopis, they are enchanted, and so they are glorifying Krishna and the different devotees also of Krishna, the different associates, and even the animals. Chudha pravalla barastapakoppalabja maran prikta paridana vichitravesho madhye virajato ralampashupala gostyam range yata nattavarakvacho gayamano. So again here they saw describing how beautiful Krishna is looking, first of all explaining that he is dressed in beautiful garments, and so is expert. It is mentioned in the scriptures that as a Supreme Lord, so he is perfect in everything. Even how he is putting his dress, it is very enchanting, and you can see the deities also, they are beautifully dressed today. And in this connection we may also say that, so today as explained is Amavasya, so according to the days also, according to the moon, so Krishna is putting on different dresses, although mostly as a yellow dress. Is famous for that he's wearing a yellow dress, Pitambar Vesh, and a yellow chadar. So but sometimes, as today it is the new moon, Amavasya, so evening time everything is dark. So therefore on that day, in the evening, Krishna is putting also dark cloth. And also his beloved Srimati Radharani, she's putting on dark cloth. As you can see here also, the deities are wearing dark cloth, with some colors also, but mainly it is blackish or dark blue, dark color. So then when Krishna is in the evening going to meet his beloved, the gopis, so that he can go there unnoticed. And on the full moon day, so he's wearing white cloth, and Srimati Radharani also, so that they may not be noticed easily to perform their wonderful pastimes. And so they are describing his dress and how he's wearing a beautiful garland and his nicely In India, most of the persons in the villages, they're wearing turban, like I'm wearing, and that is actually protecting from the cold. They don't have a hat. Usually the turban is there. It is protecting from the cold. When it is cold in the summer, when it's very hot. In India, it gets very hot in this area, northern India, Vrindavan, sometimes 45 degrees in the shade. So then actually this will also protect from the heat, from the sun. So Krishna, so he's wearing this turban, and many of the Brijabasis they're wearing. And then he's putting beautiful flowers there from the forest, and then the peacock feather also. And even sometimes the leaves from the trees, and that looks very beautiful. And so they look very beautiful, Krishna and Balaram. But of course, especially, they are attracted to Krishna, who is most beautiful. As explained, Krishna means the all-attractive, the Supreme Lord. So again, they are also recognizing that Krishna is the best dancer. And sometimes so he's also singing, Krishna himself. He's singing, and that is very beautiful, very enchanting. And then further they're describing, Gopya kimacharat ayam kushalam smavenor damo dadara sudamapi gopikanam bhunkte sayam yad avashishtara samradinyo rishat vacho ashru mamuchostaravo yataryam. So the gopis are saying that what auspicious activities must the flute have performed to be able to always be with Krishna. And so Krishna is playing the flute, and of course the gopis, the most dear associates of Krishna, so they want to be also always in the company of Krishna, being embraced or even kissed by Krishna. So therefore, they are saying that actually we are unfortunate. The flute is more fortunate than we are. So that is the consciousness of the most exalted devotees. They are thinking that we are not so fortunate, we are not able to serve Krishna so much. But there are others who are much better than we are. So that is the mood of the advanced devotees. Although it is explained in scriptures, although they're always thinking about Krishna, they're always serving Krishna, they're always glorifying Krishna, but they're feeling, I'm not able to do anything. So that is the real humility of an advanced devotee. Pakva dainatva. Although that is explained, although they are decorated with so many wonderful qualities, they're feeling, I'm actually not able to do much for Krishna. I'm very insignificant. So it is very, the transcendental platform is very wonderful. And so we should try to imbibe the mood of the exalted devotees of the Lord. So humility has to be there, tolerance has to be there, and respect for everyone, and being always very kind and seeing the good qualities in others. There is another instance is there or described in the scriptures, just like the bumblebee. The bumblebee will go to the flowers and get the nectar from the flowers. So we should be like this. The devotees are just like flowers, and they are there to be offered to Krishna, and so they are very sweet. And so we should see the good qualities in the other person. So the advanced devotees, they always only see the good qualities. They don't see any faults. So the gopis are like that. And but sometimes, of course, the different moods may be there. So even on the transcendental platforms, the different moods are there. But Krishna is always in the center. And sometimes they are transcendently happy, and sometimes some unhappiness is there. Because they want to be close to Krishna, but they cannot be. So that is natural. Even in this world, if somebody very dear to us is there, and then somebody else will be there with our most dear person, so then we will feel, oh, he's so fortunate, he's being able to be with my best friend. And then we feel we want to be again also with him. So these feelings are natural. So whatever feelings are there, so that should not be denied, but we should always try to connect with Krishna, have Krishna in the center. And then our consciousness is purified, then our senses are purified, then our desires will be purified. And as we go on, then our spiritual nature, our real nature, as the eternal sons of Krishna, will be manifested. And then we can understand things clearly as they are, and then we can feel so much transcendental love, pleasure in exchange with Krishna. So the gopis are, so this transcendental envy is there. They feel a little bit envious of the flute, that the flute is so fortunate to be able always to be with Krishna. So Krishna is never leaving the flute actually. He's playing the flute, or sometimes he's dancing, then he's putting the flute here on the side. Even when he's eating, he has the flute with him here. He's always careful that the flute is always there. Even nighttime, when Krishna goes to sleep, he's sleeping. Now in this material world, people, what they do, they have the mobile next to them when they're sleeping. But Krishna, the supreme enjoyer, so he likes to play flute also. So he has the flute always with him. And he puts it under the cushion. Therefore, when you worship the deities also, you put the deities to rest, the pujaris here. You put the flute also under the cushion? Yes, they do. And so we have to use the mobile to call somebody, but Krishna is playing the flute and he's calling the people. He's giving the message by playing the flute, the Supreme Lord. The creator of this Lord of this world, Lord Brahma, he was meditating on the Lord for thousands of years, and then Krishna is playing the flute. And from the flute, a very special mantra emanated, known as the Gayatri mantra. Those in India, they all know the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurbhuva Svat Tat Savitur Varenyam, and so on. It's supposed to be a secret mantra, but everybody knows in India now. But anyway, you have to receive from the spiritual master, and actually you have to follow some rules. Then there will be full effect. So he chanted the Gayatri mantra, and in this way, so the mantra entered, as we have heard, that Lord Brahma, the creator of this world, being inspired by the Lord, so he has actually 4 heads. And so he was hearing through 4 ears, because we hear the mantra in 1 ear. So he was hearing 4 times, so the mantra, and so then he actually got the impetus to create this material world, being empowered by the Supreme Lord. So the Gayatri mantra sprang from the flute of Krishna. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord is most amazing personality and most wonderful. And so the gopis, so they were a little bit transcendently envious of the flute, but nevertheless also, because they are most humble, they are glorifying the flute and saying that the flute is very fortunate, and we are not so fortunate because we are not always with Krishna. Although they are most fortunate, the gopis, and they are most exalted and most absorbed in Krishna. But it is just the natural humility of the devotee. Vrindavanam sakibhuva vinaroti kirtim yadevaki suttabadam bhujalabda lakshmi govindavenam anamatta mayora nrityam prekshadri sanvavartanya samasta sattvam. So then they are glorifying the holy abode, Sri Vrindavan Dham. And they are explaining that actually this holy abode, Sri Vrindavan Dham, is spreading the glories of the whole earth. And that is true. That especially in Bharatvarsha, India, so everybody knows about the holy place of Sri Vrindavan Dham. And of course now, due to the influence of time, India has become small, but before it was much bigger. Before Pakistan, Afghanistan, all were included in Bharatvarsha. And even thousands of years ago, the whole world was known as Bharatvarsha, the 7 continents. But now it is, of course, a little small. But but all over the world and on this planet, so everybody knew about Vrindavan. And even now, by the Lord's arrangement, through his very dear devotee, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who established our society, now again there are devotees all over the world, and they know Sri Vrindavan Dham. And of course, even in the heavenly planets, all the demigods of the heavenly planets, they know about Vrindavan Dham. And they worship, actually, Vrindavan Dham. And the inhabitants, not only of Vrindavan, actually, but of Bharat Bhumi, Bharatvarsha. Because they are fortunate, because Krishna appeared there. So the glory is there of Sri Vrindavan Dham because Krishna performed these pastimes there. And when Krishna is playing the flute, they are continuing, then not only the gopis are happy, but Krishna's friends, all the inhabitants of Braja are jubilant. And the peacocks, the animals, they also dance. And it is explained that even the deer, they are watching. And then, as explained further, they will come near to Krishna. So up to here we discussed the last 10 days a little bit more elaborately, but I just gave, for those who just came today, I just give a small summary. And then, so now the next 10 verses we will also just give a summary, because we don't have much enough time. Dhanyasma Buddha Katayopi Arinya Eta Yanandananda Namapatta Vichitravesham Akanya Veno Ranitam Saha Krishna Sara Pujam Dadur Virajatam Pranayavalokai. So then here again the gopis, the most beloved of Krishna, they are describing about the deer. So, but because it is natural, as explained, that in some relationships, even you can see this in the material world, and when the boys and girls are there, and that we know also from our experience. Anyone can experience, anyone knows. So sometimes a boy is there and he has a girlfriend, and then another girl may also like the same boyfriend, and then they become a little bit envious. Oh, this girl is with my boy, which I really like. So these are natural feelings in the material world. So, and actually all these feelings are there in the material world because they are there in the spiritual world. But here they are in perverted form, whereas in the spiritual world they are in pure form. And Krishna is always in the center, whereas in the material world, mostly Krishna is not there. But we have to put Krishna in the center, and we have to try to also understand these different sentiments of these great devotees of the Lord. And then we can see the things clearly, and then we can advance in our spiritual life. So, even with the deer, they are seeing that the deer are actually very fortunate. But then actually they're also saying, and because they're a little bit transcendental envious deer, they're saying, oh, this foolish deer, they have approached Maharaj Nanda's son Krishna, who is very beautifully dressed and playing on this flute. But because actually the deer, so of course, as we know, the animals are not so intelligent as the human beings. Naturally, because they want to be with Krishna, so there's some little envy there, and then they are trying to minimize the position of the deer to some extent. But then again they're saying, but actually they're very fortunate, the deer, because they're going towards Krishna. And that is what happened when Krishna was there and playing the flute. Then many animals, they were coming to Krishna also, because Krishna is most beautiful. And they want to be just like, not only the gopis, they want to touch Krishna, but the friends of Krishna, they want to be close to Krishna when Krishna is a distance away. Then they want to go and touch Krishna, and they play with each other, and they say, okay, let's go and meet Krishna, touch Krishna. And let's see who can touch Krishna first, as we heard the other day also. So same, so even the animals, because Krishna is all attractive, so they want to go near Krishna. So they're actually going near Krishna. And then, so the deer are there, and of course the female are going there, and then the male, the bucks are also going there. So the doe is going and the buck is also going there. And the feeling that the gopis are feeling, actually the deer are very fortunate, the doe, because they're going there, and the male, the bucks, they are not obstructing them. But we have sometimes some difficulty, because Krishna is a young boy and we are young girls, and according to the Indian culture, so the young boys and girls, they don't intermingle freely. So that is restricted. But they can see that all the deer, they also have love and affection for Krishna. And so they are discussing then further. Krishnam niriksha vanirottava rupashilam shutva chatakvanita vena vivikta gitam devya vimana gateya smarano nasara prashat prasona kubhava mumurhur vinivya. So then they are explaining that Krishna's beauty and Krishna's wonderful activities and his qualities, his character, they're actually attracting everyone, not just us, because just a few of the gopis were here and discussing, but they are attracting all the women. And then they're explaining even the higher beings, the demigods, who are flying in celestial airplanes. So they also become attracted. And usually the demigods are there with their wives, and they're sometimes coming to this, to behold the beautiful pastimes of Krishna. And they also become bewildered by the beauty of Krishna. So, and it is explained, of course, that not everyone is actually is able to see, that the acharyas have explained, the wonderful activities of Krishna in this world. So for this, actually one must be devoted to the Supreme Lord. Then one can see the Supreme Lord Krishna. Then one can see and appreciate his wonderful activities. So, especially of course amongst the human beings, only very few, they're able to appreciate Krishna and then serve Krishna. And even amongst the demigods, not everyone is able to fully appreciate Krishna or to behold his wonderful pastimes. Even especially it is explained when Krishna is with the gopis, then only those in that mood they can actually understand. Those who have this gopi bhav, they can appreciate, they can see Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. It is explained even the demigods, actually by the wonderful influence of Yoga Maya, the internal potency of the Lord. So then when they are watching Krishna, they see Krishna dancing, but they are not able to behold all the gopis. Whereas the wives of the demigods, they are more devoted, so therefore they can see Krishna dancing with the gopis. So that is explained also by the acharyas. So the gopis, and they are most fortunate, and they will see that that all the inhabitants they have some loving sentiments for Krishna. So as we are hearing that the different pastimes of Krishna and Braj, and how when Brahma stole the cows and the calves, then Krishna expanded himself and showed his form. And when he's killing the demons, and Vasudeva Krishna is killing the demons. So because everything is included in Krishna. Everything is included in Krishna. So all the different incarnations are there in Krishna, is the source of everything. So for killing the demons, then Vasudeva Krishna is manifested. So but when Krishna, that is explained also by the Acharyas, when he's dancing with the gopis, at that time actually only the gopis, they can see that. And at that time, so only very few fortunate souls, they may be able to behold that wonderful pastime of Krishna. And it is explained at this time, so the different incarnations of Krishna who may be with him other times, like Vasudeva Krishna or Vishnu, during that time when Krishna is dancing with the gopis, they are not there. They are not there within Krishna. So that is explained by Dhyan Chandra Goswami, disciple of Gopal Guru, in one of his books. So then they will go up in the sky, he has explained. And then Krishna is there alone with the gopis performing the wonderful pastime of the Rasa Leela. Nobody else is there. So that is quite understandable because they are the most exalted, and when Krishna is with the gopis, so then he doesn't want to be, of course, disturbed by anyone else or anyone else's mood. And so therefore even Balaram is not present, and the other cow, his friends are not there, and not even his different expansions are there when he's dancing with the gopis. Then Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna is alone dancing with the gopis. But as soon as the rasa dance is over and the pastimes with the gopis are over, then the different expansions of Krishna, they are entering again into the body of Krishna. So that is explained by the Acharyas. So only very few can behold the wonderful pastime of the Rasa Leela, Krishna dancing with the gopis. And that is most enchanting. So the Acharyas, so they have revealed this, and so the opportunity is there to eventually, as Prabhupada has explained, dance with Krishna, with the Supreme Lord. But for this we have to patiently perform our devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master who is helping us to come to a higher stage of Krishna consciousness. Gavascha Krishna Mukanina Venu Geta Piyosham Udabeta Kanaputai Pibantya Shavashnutasthana Payakavalasmatastur Govindamatmani Dishashru Kalas Prashantya. So then it is explained that when Krishna is playing the flute, so the gopis are explaining, so the cows are also listening because it is so enchanting. Although they were eating the grass, the fresh grass, but when Krishna is playing the flute, they stop eating the grass, and even then you can see, it is explained by the Acharyas that the grass is between the mouth of the cows, and they're listening with their ears. So usually the cows in India you can see also, of course different cows are there, and then mostly the ears are hanging down. But then when Krishna is playing the flute, due to ecstatic symptoms, they are feeling also, they are listening with the ears up, and they are listening very carefully and relishing the sound of Krishna's flute. And the calves who are usually just running around or taking the mother's milk, so they also stop drinking the mother's milk, and they're simply listening to the sweet sound which is coming from Krishna, which is so sweet to hear, because Krishna is the source of everything, is the source of all sweetness. So when Krishna is playing the flute, that is so sweet. Whatever Krishna is doing is sweet. And Krishna is sweet, his face is sweet. Adaram madaram vadaram madaram nayanam madaram hasidam madaram hridayam madaram gamanam madaram madadada patera akilam madaram. So is the sweetness personified. Krishna's face is very sweet, like a lotus flower, and his mouth is very sweet, very beautiful, like a lotus petal. And especially when Krishna is smiling, that is even more sweet. When Krishna is smiling, and you can see his beautiful small teeth, white teeth, very shiny. And then his lotus eyes are sweet, lotus petal eyes. And then his heart is very sweet. Therefore he has this loving exchange with everyone. His walking is sweet. His speaking is sweet. Venur Madara, Renur Madara. So his flute is sweet, his hands are sweet, his feet are sweet. Everything is sweet about Krishna. So when he's playing the flute, then everyone is so much attracted. And they leave their activities. So the calves, they're stopping drinking the milk and they're simply listening to very sweet sound. Venunad, the sound of Krishna's flute, when Krishna is playing the flute. Parayo padamba vihagamanayo vanesmin Krishnekshitam tad udidam kala venugitam Aruya yedruma bhujanruchira pravalam Shrinvanti militadrisha vigatanyavacham. And then the gopis are speaking to each other and they are saying, in this forest, so all the birds, they have come to the trees and they're sitting on the branches of the trees, just to look at Krishna, to have a look at Krishna. And then with closed eyes, usually we know that the birds, mostly they're flying around and chirping and looking here and there for some food. But when Krishna is playing the flute, all the birds, they're going on top of the branches of the trees to hear Krishna playing the flute. That is so attractive. And then, so the gopis, they are also saying that surely these birds are not just ordinary birds, but they are great sages. Of course, we know that all the associates of Krishna Braj, they are perfected beings. But as explained in the scriptures, by worshipping the Supreme Lord, after many lives, then it is possible to go to the spiritual world and then serve Krishna, either as his beloved, or having a motherly, fatherly affection, or being the best friends of Krishna, or even being a loyal servant of the Lord, or then even the animals. So they also, in the spiritual realm, they have transcendental form, full of bliss and knowledge. So therefore they can glorify the Lord also. And so they are perfected beings. But only after performing, as explained even for the cowherd boys, or it is explained, Nanda Baba, how many pious activities must they have performed in order to be able to be with Krishna. So we understand that there are two kinds of living entities. So those who are eternally perfect, Nitya Mukta, they were always with Krishna, they are always with Krishna. Like Nanda Baba, Madhya Yashoda, Shrimati Rarani, Lalita Vishaka, Sudam, Sridam, Raktak, Patrak, the servants. So many of the animals, they were always with Krishna. They will always be with Krishna. But then some living entities from the Tatashta Shakti, so they are called Nitya Bada or Anadi Bada, since time immemorial, conditioned, spiritually conditioned, and they come to this material world sometimes by the will of the Lord. So by the mercy of the Lord or His pure devotee, they can also become liberated. And once liberated, one will never again come to this material world, be conditioned again materially. So by nature, everyone is a servant of God, of Krishna. But due to being in a conditioned state, then one is trying to be happy in this material world, which is not possible. So therefore one has to, it is mentioned when one has a human form of life, the prime duty is try to revive one's spiritual existence, one's relationship with the Supreme Being, So that is the duty of every human being, to inquire about the absolute truth, to try to find out why am I in this material world, what will happen at the time of death, where will I go? So these questions are natural for a human being. So an intelligent human being, he will try to find out. And by the will of the Lord, by the mercy of the Lord, who comes himself to help the conditioned souls, or he sends his representatives, the pure devotees. And by the mercy of the pure devotees, the spiritual master, then our spiritual nature, a spirit soul being completely apart from the gross and subtle body, will be revealed, and our real relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Being, will be revealed. And so that is actually the goal of life, to go back to the kingdom of God and to the spiritual world. So by the mercy of the Lord's devotees especially, that is possible. But after performing devotional service for quite some time. So when it is explained that how many activities the friends of Krishna were performing, so that is referring pious activities in order to play with Krishna. So that is referring to those jivas who are conditioned first, but by the mercy of the Lord and the pure devotees, so they were able to become liberated and then play with Krishna. So same also different kinds of the gopis are there, as explained before. So those very dear to Krishna, the most close associates of Krishna, who are always with Krishna, serving Krishna. Srimati Radharani are her friends. So they are always with Krishna. But then some by performing also great austerities, like even at Ramachandra's time. So when he was there in the forest, Dandakaranya forest, there were some sages there, they were meditating on the Supreme Lord, on Krishna. In that mood of the gopis. And then they saw Ramchandra, they were attracted to him. And then Ramchandra told them, in my next life, as Krishna, when I appear, then your desires will be fulfilled. So for many lifetimes they're performing austerities. And Shruti-chari gopis are there. And personified Vedas, or some of the demigods, they became gopis eventually. But after performing devotional service for quite some time. So therefore we have to patiently perform our devotional service and pray for the mercy of the Lord that we can make more and more advancement in our spiritual life, so that ultimately we can come to the perfectional stage. And as Prabhupada say, the perfection is to dance with Krishna, which is possible. But it takes some time to come to that platform, to be able to dance with Krishna. But that is the goal of life. So these birds, so these parrots especially, so they were listening also. Krishna playing the flute. Everyone is listening when Krishna is playing very sweetly the flute. Nadyas tadatat upadarya mukunda getam avata lakshitam anabhava bhaknavega. Alinganastagidam urmi bujair murarer grinanti pada yogalama kamalapahara. So then explaining about the rivers, especially Jamuna river. So when the Jamuna river is hearing the flute, so everything is personal in the spiritual realm. And therefore you can see in India still, they know that there's a presiding deity of the river Jamuna. There's a presiding deity of the river Ganga, and they also respect these personalities. So Jamuna Devi, which is an expansion of one of Krishna's gopis, Vishaka. So she also has loving emotions towards Krishna, and therefore is mentioned that Kamala. So she's offering the lotus flowers which are there to the feet of Krishna. So in India especially, so the lotus flower is practically considered to be the most wonderful flower, and and so the devotees of the Lord in the worship of the Lord, so they use the flowers, the many flowers, which are very dear to Krishna. And they offer to the Lord by making garlands, by decorating the deities. And then also in the worship of the Lord, they will offer the flowers. And that is actually the most important item of the worship, is the flowers. And it is explained that actually we should offer these flowers also with love. And it is not just offering the flowers, but offer with love and devotion. Like offering our heart. When you offer flowers, we should offer the flower with love from our heart. So all the Brijabasis, they were, especially gopis, so they were making garlands and offering with love and offering flowers to Krishna. So also it is explained Yamuna Devi, so she's offering the lotus flowers to Krishna. Tristva tape vajabashun sarama gopai sancharayantam anubenum udirayantam prema pravida udita kusamavalabhi sakyo vyadatsava pushambada attapatram. And then, so as explained before, there are 6 seasons in Bharatvarsha in India. And so the rainy season, which is there now, it is raining a lot for 2 months. And then the Sharad season, which is described here, after the rainy season, where it gets a little warm again, but it is very pleasant, especially morning and evening, but it's a little hot during the day. And then after comes the autumn, and then the winter, and then spring, of course, and summer. So the summer is very hot. And when it is very hot, then of course we go to the shade. But here, when Krishna is feeling a little hot in the summer, of course Krishna is the Supreme Lord and there's never too much inconvenience, but still in the pastimes it is there, that it feels a little hot. And then the clouds are coming, as it is explained, and they're showering some drops of water to give some relief from the heat to Krishna. So even in Vrindavan, there's this place near the Madan Mohan temple, so which is there in Vrindavan. Here we have Radha Madan Mohan, so the original temple is there with Radha Madan Mohan, where they were worshipped by the devotees of the Lord, and still now they're worshipping there. There's one, so it is up on a small hill there, Aditya Tila. So it is mentioned that when Krishna was there one time, it was a little hot, so he was perspiring a little bit. So he was feeling, and then the clouds were coming. So different times, different places it is happening. So this time also, so at that time he was feeling a little hot also, and then it was raining also. And then afterwards he was feeling a little cold, and then the suns were coming there also, so that Krishna was feeling all right again. So according to Krishna's pleasure, or according to the need, the 6 seasons may be there serving Krishna. Even it is explained the winter season is there, and sometimes it is snowing, even in the spiritual realm, but it is not as cold as here. So it is most wonderful, and the descriptions are there in the Bhagavatam and the Vedic literatures. So to get some idea of the spiritual realm and to see how wonderful it is, so that we may desire to go there. So we may then not only desire, but endeavor to become perfect so we can actually go there. So when it is a little hot and the clouds are there, and then some drops, it is raining a little bit, very slight rain is there, and then Krishna is feeling refreshed again. So then the gopis are saying, so it is becoming, actually the clouds, then also it is raining a little bit, and attapatram, so it is just like an umbrella shielding Krishna from the hot sun. So they are seeing that everyone is there ready to serve Krishna. Even the holy Yamuna river, the clouds, the animals, everyone is trying to serve Krishna, and everyone is having a relationship with Krishna, loving a relationship, and especially everyone is appreciating when Krishna is playing the flute. Puna Pulendya Urugaya Padabja Raja Puna Pulendya Urugaya Padabja Raga Sikung Kumena Daitastana Manditena Tadashana Smarajas Trinarushitena Limpantyanana Kujeshu Jahustadadhim. So then even there, so they are the, as we know in Bharadvasha, 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams are there. The Brahmana, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra. So the intelligent class of people, the administrators or the soldiers, the warriors, the businessmen or those who take care of the land, and then the normal workers. And even as those which are even considered even almost less than the normal workers, tribal people. So they're staying outside of the village even, and they're not actively even engaged in some practical service to the higher classes. So, but even they, of course, in Vrindavan, Krishna is merciful also to them. And even they have feelings towards Krishna. So it is explained about the tribal women, how they are also having so much love for Krishna. And when they see even things related to Krishna, then they are reminded of Krishna. So even the ladies of India, they have this kumkum powder. All the married ladies, in the partition of the hair, they have the kumkum powder there, sindoor. Or sometimes they put it there also on the cheeks. A little bit. And they decorate themselves very nicely to attract the husband. And so the gopis also, they are nicely decorated to attract Krishna. And Krishna is performing pastimes. And then sometimes, so then in the pastimes, the kumkum is coming on Krishna. And then Krishna is wandering here and there, and the kumkum is falling on the ground. And so these Pulinda girls, they are called from the outside of the villages, the tribal women. So then they also become very happy, and they take that and they smear that on their face, on the whole body, and they feel in this way blessed that they are able to get some remnants of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And they give up all their anxiety and they are fully satisfied. So the gopis are appreciating everyone's sentiments. And in this way, indirectly, of course, they are glorifying all the Brijabasis, they're glorifying Krishna playing the flute, and of course they are glorifying Krishna. Whatever they are doing is that is for Krishna's pleasure. But especially they're trying to always think about Krishna and glorify Krishna and serve Krishna. But indirectly, even you can see that the speaker, Shukadeva Goswami, so by relating about the pastimes of the most beloved of Krishna, the most exalted, is showing that they are the most exalted devotees, and they are actually glorified. All the gopis are actually glorified in the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially Srimati Radharani as the greatest of all of Krishna's devotees. And that is recognized by everyone. So, but then here, so different gopis actually, different of Krishna's beloved are glorifying the residents of Braj or the flute, the sound of Krishna's flute and Krishna. And here it is especially mentioned that in the next verse, Srimati Radharani, the most beloved of Krishna, is glorifying Giriraj. Giriraj Govardhana ki. Hantayam adirera balahari rasyavaya yadrama Krishna charanas parasha pramoda manam tanoti sago ganastaya yat panyasayavasa kandara kandamulai. So she's saying of all the devotees, this Govardhan is the best of all. Haridasya Bharya, as explained before. So throughout the Vedic literatures, different persons, they are glorified as great devotee of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. Especially 3 are mentioned even in the Bhagavatam. One is Yudhishthira, he is addressed as Haridasya, great devotee of Krishna. And then Uddhav. But then Giriraj Govardhan is considered to be the greatest of all the devotees of Krishna. Therefore the devotees, they are taking shelter Also, and Krishna himself is saying that we should respect Govardhan, Giriraj, and he can give us whatever we want. So she's saying that this hill is supplying Krishna and Balaram whatever they want. So there the cows, they can eat the green grass, and there are many caves. When it is too hot, we can take shelter of the caves. When it is raining also, we can take shelter when it is too cold. And there are beautiful trees there, we can get the flowers and fruits and vegetables. So, and clear water is there. So therefore, Giriraj is actually the best servant, because he is not only satisfying Krishna, but all the Brijbasis, he's serving everyone. So that is the nature of the devotees, is das anudas, is thinking, I have to serve Krishna, but I have to serve also Krishna's devotees and the devotees of Krishna's devotees. So Giriraj Govardhan, so he's serving all the Brijbasis, and he's serving Krishna, and he's fulfilling all the devotees and Krishna's desires. So therefore we think that is the best devotee of the Lord. And so, yes, so it is accepted by all great personalities. So Srimati Radharani herself, and Krishna is glorifying himself. And then all the great sages, so Narada Muni and Mahaprabhu and the associates of Mahaprabhu, they are glorifying Giriraj as the best of Krishna's devotees. But of course, ultimately we know that the gopis are most exalted, and amongst them, Srimati Radharani. But Giriraj is very special, and by worshipping him, it is explained, then we can be also very quickly freed from all difficulties, as mentioned in this verse. Namaste Girirajaya Si Govardhana Namine Ashesha Klesha Nasha Paramananda Naine. And you can see that, so the hill is also, of course, Satchidananda Swarup, eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, as everything in the spiritual world. And therefore the devotees, when they go to Govardhan, they pray to Giriraj, so they may have love for Radha and Krishna also. And even many times for material things, they will take shelter of Giriraj. And mostly is also fulfilling their desire. Or somebody wants to have a good wife, they're praying to Govardhan. They want to have children, they pray to Govardhan. For even so many external things. But still, Giriraj is so merciful and usually fulfilling all desires. But especially if one wants to have love for Krishna. So Giriraj, although from one point of view is not different from Krishna, but at the same time is just like he's the best devotee of Krishna. And so just like Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, but is the greatest devotee of Krishna, acting as showing us how to serve Krishna. So Giriraj may be respected as good as Krishna and worshipped just as Krishna, as Prabhupada explained in the Krishna book. Devotees are taking the pebbles from Govardhan and worshipping just like Krishna. But then he is accepted as the best devotee, and he can give Krishna prem. So his Vishai Vigraha is worshipable, but also is the abode of love for Krishna, Ashai Vigraha. So therefore the devotees, they also, many times they worship Giriraj as the best devotee, and praying to him, please let me also have love for Krishna like you have, and let me be able to serve you and Srimati Radharani, all the Brijbasis. So we should also pray to Giriraj so that we can become free from all difficulties, so that we can become qualified to serve the divine couple and all the Brijbasis. Giriraj Maharaj ki! So surely Maharaj will say a few more words this evening about Giriraj. Gago pakairanu vanam nayatoru dara beno sanai kala padarastanu bricha sakya aspandanam gatimatam pulakastarunam niryoga pasha krita lakshanor vichitram. And then again explaining about how beautiful Krishna and Balaram are. When they pass through the forest with their cow friends and the cows and the calves. And then they're explaining Also how they are carrying the ropes for tying the calves and the cows. There are actually two kinds of ropes. One is to tie the cows, and the other one is to tie actually the legs of the calves, so they will not take the mother's milk. They will tie the calf and the cow's legs, so that the cow is not running here and there. So there are two kinds of rope, and they are using that for decoration. They're putting sometimes on the head, on the turban, and sometimes on the shoulder, just like a decoration. Because Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and whatever he's doing is in a kind of play. So my dear friends, so they are saying Krishna Balaram, so they pass through the forest and they are having this, the ropes as decoration. And then Krishna is playing the flute and all the living entities. So they're explaining the moving entities become stunned. Like the birds, they are not flying, the cows and the calves, they are not moving around. And even the gopis or the gopas, they are listening attentively due to ecstatic symptoms. And then the non-moving entities like the trees and the mountains or the rocks, the stones. So the trees, they are trembling, and the stones are melting due to transcendental ecstasy when Krishna is playing the flute. And even now you can see in some places where this happened, that then Krishna was there and the cows, and then you can see the imprints of Krishna's lotus feet, Charan Pahari. So near Nandagaon there's a place, or different places in Braj, where it can be seen, the effect of when Krishna is playing the flute. So these things are very wonderful, they are acknowledging also. And then the last verse, Evam vidav bhagavato ya vrindavanacharina vanayantamito gopya kriirastan mayatam yaju. So thus narrating to one another the playful pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as he wandered about in the Vrindavan forest, the gopis became fully absorbed in thoughts of him. So that is actually the purpose of describing or hearing about these pastimes and describing is so that we can become fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and Krishna's wonderful pastimes and Krishna's associates. And this way we can make our life perfect and realize our spiritual existence as the eternal sons of Krishna in a transcendental body full of bliss and knowledge. Hare Krishna. Okay, it's past 3 o'clock, so we have to stop. So, any question maybe? Just one question or something?
Because Maharaj has to lecture at 5 o'clock.
Yes.
We have to have prasadam.
Yes.
After 5 we have another program.
So we have to stop.
If someone has questions,
they can
approach
write privately. Yes, okay. Hare Krishna.